Let's see here. Okay, we are live on YouTube. Okay, back to the show. Sorry about that. A little bit of house cleaning,
Jeez,
right?
I'm not seeing it. Okay.
We are live on YouTube. Okay, so next up, on to the pictures. First, we're going to start out with, as I was saying, a fairly new modeler, or at least new to us. His name is Hector Turner. And he sends us a picture of the booty corner. Very interesting model. I'm not too sure what scale this is. It appears to be HO, but I could be wrong. It might actually be the S scale version of that. Booty corner, if you're familiar with booty corner, it's one of the very first structures that we did that was really large. I want to say this came out in, dating myself a little bit, 2005, 2006. Again, it was one of the first really large 3-story structures that we did. And we still manufacture that kit as of today. You can call up and place an order. Next up, let's see here. We have, actually, I'm not sure.
Frank says YouTube is good.
I'm not sure we've gotten a whole lot of this, but this is Cigar Corner. Pete sent us quite a few pictures of a cigar corner. This was the one that we decided to show. Again, if you're familiar with last year's Christmas kit, that's what this was. This was a very large diorama. If you're familiar with the Christmas kits, we really try to create a kit that you can, not everybody has a layout. Not everybody has room for, 17-foot, 40-foot, whatever the case may be, layout. And some modelers just enjoy doing dioramas as showpieces. And as you can see, that's what Pete has done here. Now, obviously, if you end up building a layout or you go down that route, you can still take those dioramas and include them in your layout. But something to remember, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, is you don't always have to think just, oh, well, I can't do that because I don't have any room on my layout. Well, everybody's got room for a little diorama, right? Next up is Ted with his Jerry's. I believe this is the HO scale version. This is a kit, if you're familiar with it, a fairly recent kit. Came out last year, springtime-ish. This is a structure that we offer in N scale, HO scale, and even O scale. It's very impressive in O scale and impressive in N scale. It's just a little bit smaller.
It's impressive in N.
But he really did a good job. He really took somewhat of a basic structure and went to town on it. Just the level of detail. If you look to the right there, you'll see an old tractor, and then I guess the new tractor in quotes right out front. He's really done a lot to this structure to bring really a simple structure a lot of character, and that's something that you should remember, that just because it's a 4 walls, 6 walls, whatever, it doesn't mean that it can't have character and detail and really pop on a layout or a diorama. Next up we have 2, and this is actually a personal favorite of mine as far as photos that we've received recently, and this is actually something we have talked about for years. What this is this is our cabins at College Creek. But as you can see, he went a totally different way with this. A really good idea. Let me see, I've got another picture here. See if I can pull that up. I mean, look at the detail. Again, like I was just saying, just because it's 4 walls doesn't mean it can't have character, it can't have detail, and it can't tell a story. Some of the most interesting structures, when you break them down, they're just a couple walls and some roofing material, correct? Where you go with the color, with the weathering and adding the character really, tells a story on its own. Really great job, Steve. Thank you for sending these in. Next up, we have a long time, many time, and I appreciate it, Jim. This is Jim's version, all right, of a smoky firehouse. I believe we have shown this before, but if you'll notice, what you see here, the main reason we're showing this photo tonight is in this photo he has both fire trucks. To the left he has Sparky and the Chief, that's what it's called, and then to the right side he actually has the original fire truck that was originally intended to go with the structure. But we really wanted wanted to show the scale between the two and really give you an idea what that looks like. Another long time, many time, we actually have two from him, same structure, but a very, very, very impressive photo. Flaherty and McCabe's. This is Scott Chartier, and I know I'm messing your last name up again. Give me a call and lay me out. But as you'll see here, I mean, he really went to town on this. And the photography, everything about this model and this picture is just top level, fantastic. You'll see that he's actually put some lights in and, really, really done a great job. Let me click over here to the next photo. Again, just another shot, but look at that roofing. Look at the roof. Just fantastic. If you're familiar with this kit, this is a kit that is covered in essentially shingles from head to toe. But he really, really did a wonderful job. Scott, I always love when you send in photos because your modeling is just really so on point and just wonderful. I'm at a loss for words. Okay, so another name that you've probably heard if you've watched any of these shows here and there is Dan Lutz. Wonderful guy, wonderful modeler. That is Dan. Hopefully he wasn't driving when he took this picture. I'm sure he was pulled over, right? Anyway, that is Dan. The reason I'm talking about Dan tonight is a few minutes ago I was talking about, the idea of a diorama. And, oh, geez, I love that structure, but I can't build it because where am I going to put it? I can't put it on my nightstand. My wife's already yelling at me because the closet's too full. Well, Dan doesn't have a layout. What he does is he does exactly what I just mentioned. He just builds dioramas. He has multiple dioramas, builds some shelves, uses them as a showpiece, but still enjoys modeling. And then someday if Dan moves out of the apartment and, decides to, build a layout, he'll have all of these wonderfully modeled structures easily accessible to, bring into his layout. Now, he definitely used some very thick gator foam there, so you might have to sink those down pretty good. But, again, think outside of the box. You don't always have to have a huge basement or a huge layout or even be part of a club to still enjoy the hobby. We all kind of enjoy it in our own way, right? And this is how Dan enjoys it. And I'm sure there's many modelers out there that do the same thing. We'd love to see your pictures. Don't be afraid to send them in. Okay, so to wrap up this segment, if you're familiar with this segment, we always do a raffle at the end, and whoever the lucky winner is, we send them a little bit of swag and, just as a thank you for sending in your photo. So, drum roll please. Wonder who won. Do you know? Let's see here. Who won? The winner is Pete. Pete, if you happen to be watching this, or if you watch it tomorrow or the next day, give us a call at the shop, shoot us an email so that we can get your address and get that right out to you. I think I've rambled long enough. We'll head over here to the guys.
Hey, look, we're finally, I tell you, it's been a long day. It's been a muddy weekend, and here we are back at the shop. We have a lot going on, so much out. If you notice, Jack is kind of besides himself because we don't have any models in front of us. And I think since we've started doing this, we've always had at least something in front of us.
Yep.
The thing of it is, the next model is kind of the unknown model, and that's the Christmas kit. And we're going to be doing a special edition of...
Forgot my picture.
No, don't say this. We're going to be doing a special edition on first Monday, but it'll be third Monday this time around. Monday the 15th, which is exactly 2 weeks from tonight, we will be introducing a video and an unveiling of the Christmas kit. And I can assure you, it is like nothing that we've ever done before. It's very, very different, Jack. Or what did you say?
Yeah, it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's not as big.
I think you'll like it.
But it's loaded with character, and it's. I'll give you a hint that it's under $300. I think it's time that we got a little realistic and started to rein in the price. Of course, the kit is a little smaller too. In all fairness,
It's 3 buildings.
four
Yeah.
plus. Plus, I'll tell you a hint. What's the defining thing in this kit?
My trees.
Your tree. Jack actually built the trees in the kit. The defining thing is it's called Cemetery Hill, and it's if you think there's a cemetery there, you're probably right, and that's going to be part of the diorama that we'll feature. It's an amazingly different kind of diorama. Now, we've been very busy at the shop. We're getting a lot of calls and orders from all over the world, and I think a lot of you were jumping on to the fact and catching on to the fact that the United States Post Office has turned to dust. I'm not saying it was never dusty, but it didn't exemplify the word dust in itself. They promised us slower service and higher rates, and we're going to be seeing both of those. And we're starting to see Christmas orders come in. And of course, a lot of you are asking about the Christmas kit as well. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. I know I'm not disappointed. Jim Mooney did some amazing engineering. Jack did some amazing building on this thing, and it's just going to be something that's going to be.
Yeah, who built those buildings?
Yeah, you did them all, Jack.
See, actually, he did them this time.
But that being said,
We helped.
I think you're going to love them. It's been a crazy time. As a matter of fact, one of our guys, his name is Ken, he's one of our production guys, and he has put together, I took a picture of him today. And Lenny, do you have a picture of Ken?
I do not.
You don't? It should be on there. We're looking on that thing. Anyhow, we'll have a picture of him shipping out so many boxes, both wholesale and retail today. And I asked him to take a break because we have to deliver these to the post office in Bar Mills. We do not have pickup, and apparently we don't have the photo either, even though I know it's on that disc.
Did we mail the photo?
Yeah, if we mailed it, you'll never see it. Anyhow, we have an interesting show tonight. We have a world-renowned modeler, Mike Tylek. I've known Mike since the 1980s, where he had an Asio Scale railroad called the Fitchburg and Southbridge. Mike used to live in Sturbridge Village. Well, not maybe in the village, but in Sturbridge. In Massachusetts.
He's one of the actors.
I think so. And he's a terrific actor. Terrific actor. He's a terrific modeler. He'll be in a little bit later. Also, Walter and Debbie Vale from a company that most of you, I would hazard a guess, probably are not familiar with, and it's one of the finest companies. And this man is a modeler unlike any of us, myself or anyone else in this end of the hobby. And he actually, when he builds models, he sculpts them, he designs them from the ground up, and he has a terrific line. He owns a company called Showcase Miniatures from Alabama, and he's going to be joining us tonight as well. I see we have a lot of friends on here. We have Bob Mack. By the way, YouTube is back up in case you don't know it. I had trouble here too. Jack and I right now are monitoring the questions, which is something we started doing last show.
Except I can't see.
Jeff Sykes, a very regular modeler. Shadow Wolf, who I believe is, he travels a lot. I have a feeling he's in the military. Dan Lutz from Tennessee. You've seen a picture of Dan there. Mark Sisk, Craig. It says better in mind. I think he means Maine. N-Scale Dick. I don't know if that's something. Does it say N-Scale Dick? I believe so. Hi from Pennsylvania. Okay. What do you have there? Now Jack is monitoring Facebook, right?
Jim Reese.
Jim Reese, of course. That's Mr. Firehouse.
Yeah, North Conway.
And I see you have Jim Armour, who kind of flopped back and forth between the two platforms.
Yep.
We apologize for that.
Stephen Grimes from, what's that say? Australia.
Seriously,
Doesn't that say Australia?
it does.
Yeah, from down under.
So it's really early in the morning. Hopefully, he's having his cup of
Good
coffee
morning.
or tea or whatever they drink in Australia.
Good morning, Stephen.
Anyhow, there's not too much to talk about tonight. We finished a video tonight. I'm talking. I walked in this building
3 minutes.
three minutes before showtime.
Yeah.
Jack and I worked on a new video today. I don't know if we're going to be able to show it.
Hopefully.
I don't want to take any chances on screwing up the live feed here between YouTube and Facebook. If you have any questions, please ask. We are going to definitely be taking questions tonight because we don't know for a fact if the video is going to work. And normally we talk about new products. The schedule is this, just so as you know. We have the Christmas kit coming up. Come by the 15th. I'm telling you. We're going to. Do we have a little picture of the Christmas kit?
We do.
We have one little small part. It's not a big kit. Lenny, you want to flash this up?
Okay, everybody close their eyes.
Don't leave it on too long, all right?
Oh, what is that? Oh, it's gone, just like that. Wow.
Seriously, that quick?
My hand slipped. Okay, couple more seconds.
Okay.
Oh, gee, that's it?
Oh, man, that's so quick. Even I don't even know what the hell that looks like, and I built it. All right, anyhow, to give you an idea, that's part of a very different Christmas kit. So
it's back on.
It's back on. So whether you're living in the mountains of West Virginia or Maine or the West Coast or pretty much any place around the country, and you could put this kit, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be able to, I modeled it on the waterfront, but not as a dock scene.
No.
Just something as a shore scene. But you can do so many things with this, and it's a very, very craftsman type kit.
Yep.
I won't get into too much with you now. You're not going to see a lot of clapboard. You're going to see very little brick out. If any, well, there's actually some brick in this kit, but it's going to be very different. It's going to be affordable, and the theme of it, I think, really works well. Jack, what's your take on this?
I think they're going to learn a couple of new techniques in this. It's going to be something different. Different ways of painting things and different ways of applying stuff. So I think this is going to be a little learning experience, but I think in the long run, it's another thing in your arsenal of modeling that you're going to really like to have.
Now, Todd Bryan asked if it's Asio Scale. I should say it is Asio Scale.
Yeah.
And it's called Cemetery Hill. And of course, there was no cemetery in that picture, so you can imagine if you had that diorama in front of you. By the way, the diorama is 24 inches long. That I will tell you. The biggest diorama we've ever done was last year with Cigar Corner, was 32. The second biggest was Delancey Street, which was 28. This one's 24, but it does not have as many buildings, but the buildings are oozing with character. I see we have my buddy Pat Buffalino from Long Island on. And Daniel Banks says that's a great little barber shop. It's pretty funky. This is a funky kit, right? What did you say?
Yeah, funky. Yeah, it's got some funky. So I think it's character may be a better word. I think there's some real good character in all the buildings that are on the.
You know what I did? I did send a picture and to Charlie Getz. How did I forget that? I just sent a picture to Charlie Getz, and I asked him, for his eyes only, and he just flipped out over it. We like it so much. We're actually going to, we're going to have a full page ad in the December cover date, Railroad Model Craftsman, for this kit, so you'll see it. And as usual, we're going to be taking orders till January 31st. So if you're tight for money, or if you just don't know if you want it, or if you don't want it, we don't want to squeeze anyone into having to buy something right away simply because we're going to assign a specific number to it. Normally we make about 350 kits, but we do take orders up and through Springfield, Massachusetts, which, by the way, we've gotten billed for, so it's looking pretty good for this year. And we will have this diorama on display there, and of course, in 2 weeks we'll be back here with it. If you have any questions, I can try to give you hints, but I can't get too specific. I like kits with lots and lots of strip wood. Sucker for punishment.
You'll like this kit.
You're going to like this.
Yeah.
Calvin Saxton has a question about the pan pastels.
Okay.
What are the little sponge things in the pan pastels powder weathering kit?
They're called applicators. There's a way you can use the sponges to put them on. Instead of like a stiff brush, you can actually use a sponge and work the colors in together a little more with the sponge than you can with the brush.
And I love those things. I have to tell you, I used them when we were working on the Christmas kit. I used them for a very fine layer of color where there was no color, but it was so translucent it was just enough to bring it down and bring the shades and bring the scene together. So I used kind of an oddball color from pan pastel. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it was one that was in the. Can you hear me, Walter?
Oh!
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, now I can see you, but then
Okay,
you're
we're
gonna
back.
freeze. We're gonna
We're
try
back.
this again. Okay, now I can see you're moving, but I'm frozen. So,
No, I got it all fixed.
All right, we go.
We're good. Sorry about all the issues, you know.
this has been amazing. Anyhow, Walter and Debbie Vale, it's his wife Debbie, who's he likes him young. It's they're coming in from Alabama. They have an amazing company. Walter's a heck of a modeler, and I've been dealing with Showcase Miniatures. Joe Osborne that I knew? Not Joe Osborne. That's a bass player. What was Joe's last name out in California before I met you, Walt?
Joe Warren.
Okay, and Joe Warren was a friend of mine, and then he decided to retire, and Walter was working with him, and Walter is now the head kahunta, the big cheese. And if you smell her out, it's probably not him because he really comes out with some terrific hits. When did you start Showcase Miniatures, Walter?
Pardon, say that again. I missed.
When exactly did Showcase Miniatures start into business?
Joe started Showcase probably in the mid '80s, and then I started working for him. Then doing some of his models. We actually moved Showcase here to Alabama in January of 2013.
Well, let me ask you this. I know you do Asio Scale. I know you do N Scale. Is that pretty much sum it up as far as your focus?
Pretty much. We haven't got to O scale yet, but we do some things in Z scale.
I know what you want.
Well, let me just tell our viewers something. For those of you who purchased the Doverton Wharf kit that we did about 2-3 years ago, it came with a custom vehicle that was never done before. It was a high quality vehicle and made especially for that kit. And this is the gentleman right here who took care of this and actually made the master for us.
Right, that was a neat project. Artie, we enjoyed working with you at that.
Well, you did launch a new series of Asio Scale vehicles based on that particular model at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. That was the first one, right?
So, Joe, you basically, I'm calling you Joe, I'm sorry, Walt, you basically deal with, you do many vehicles in Asio Scale as well as N Scale, and we're going to show some photos. And you also have a wonderful line of accessories, very, very miniature. I've seen a couple of them that I'm not quite sure how you pulled them off, to tell you the truth. And then, of course, you have a nice line of structures. And I actually have on my personal N-Scale app, and I purchased these before I started Boar Mills, I actually have at least one, if not two, Showcase structures on my own in Niagara and Pearl Creek. So I can attest to the value and the quality of the structures.
Well, good. Well, thanks, Walt. We really enjoy what we're doing, and our focus is primarily in scale, but we have branched out in a few other scales.
Well, let me ask you this. We have I'm looking at a few things here, and I'm going to show Lenny a picture so we can put it up on the screen.
Yep, we're going to start right there.
We're going to start with this photo. This is a photo that you sent us. It's a motor with the gear on it, and I don't know exactly. I mean, I kind of get what it is, but I'm not exactly sure what it's about and what you manufacture and how you went about it.
It's a drive motor.
Right. Yeah. We call it a power truck, and we use it to power our Shea locomotive shell kits. It's manufactured specially for us from Japan and from a company in Japan, and we have it both in Z scale, which is NN3 scale, and N scale standard gauge.
I have no idea how it runs, but knowing you, I'm sure the thing it runs like a Swiss watch. Okay, I think I'm losing Walt.
Yeah, we just lost him again. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can get him back in.
It's loading.
When do you want to do this again? When's the next good night for you?
I don't know. I mean, pick one.
We're still online.
Well, we're talking here, if you can hear me, I'm going to talk. I think we're going to reschedule this because this has been a disaster tonight. Nothing to do with Mike Tylek, nothing to do with Walter and Debbie Vale, that's for sure. We know everything worked because we do.
Okay, we've got him back.
We do this earlier in the day.
We're back with him.
And he says we're back, so if you guys want to sit tight, we're going to keep you going. Plus, we have a couple other gifts to give out tonight. So I'm going to wave that little thing in front of you. So.
Okay, we are back. We're good.
Okay, hopefully you guys can still hear me. It says we can, Todd Bryan says we can hear you, your video froze too. We have a terrible internet connection, which normally doesn't happen here. We have business internet here, which is generally pretty quick. Okay, are we live here again now?
We are. We're good.
All right, we have this picture I'm going to show Lenny, and this is pretty amazing. I have to tell you, this is a fire truck, Walt. I can't quite, it says fire department, I can't quite read the name. And what scale is this in?
That's in scale.
This is N scale?
Yes, correct.
I am looking at a full-blown picture of it on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which makes it about 5 times N scale, and it looks so clean. Now, how do you go about making, designing, and producing these models?
We design those in 3D on the computer. We print them out here and make the master castings from that. A lot of the parts are cast in pewter or printed 3D printed directly, or else cast in a resin in RTV molds.
Now, let me ask you, I know you said this is N scale. There's some incredible graphics on here, which I have to assume are decals. I don't imagine you're trying to hand letter these things.
Right, they're decals, yeah.
And is this something like this also available in HO scale, for argument's sake?
Not yet. We plan to release it in HO scale, but we haven't gotten to that yet.
And what's something? Let me ask you, what's something like this go for as far as retail pricing?
Yeah, what is?
I think it's around 30.
$25 to $30 that goes.
Wow, I
all
gotta tell you, I've seen things go up and up and up, and we've had a lot of recent price increases, as we all know. And from my perspective, assuming that goes together well, and I do trust it would, that's a heck of a model. I'm going to flip another page, and what we have here is a big picture of a penny. And do you want to discuss what's exactly next to that picture and how you go about making them and what scale that this item is available in?
That's in scale as well, and it's the switch stands that you normally see. They are both pewter and stainless steel etched parts.
Well, I got to tell you, I know how big a penny is, and I have to assume the big thing about these switch stands is probably not a lot of shipping involved.
Correct, not on those, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to switch now. Now this is incredible, and this one I looked at and I couldn't quite figure out what I was looking at because of the scale of it. Here again you have your penny, but I'm not even going to guess what scale this gas station is. A single gasoline gas station.
That's in scale.
That's N scale?
Right.
Wow, that's amazing. Now let me ask you something. When you make something like this, is this also a resin casting?
No, that's all laser cut parts in a polymer paper.
One of the reasons I wanted to have you guys on is because we've been lucky enough to have some wonderful manufacturers on, but most of them keep a little higher profile than you do, in all honesty. I don't get N-Scale magazine, so maybe you're in that. But the fact of it is you do such amazing work that I just feel like it's just something that should be shared. And we've known each other long enough, and I've seen these things in person to a large extent, that hopefully the people out of Washington, the guys out of Washington, I can appreciate the workmanship and craftsmanship. I'm sure they'd like to see at least some of the stuff make its way into HO scale, Walt. I'm just saying, you might want to consider it.
Hey, that's absolutely the first comment we used to get when we release an N-scale product. Is when's it coming in HO scale?
Well,
yeah, or vice
versa. I'm going to switch pages here to something called the Carriageworks, which is very noble, and as a matter of fact, it looks like something Jack would love to work on.
Looks nice.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
we dedicated that one to Ronald, who does most of our builds for us.
Wow.
That's in scale, correct.
Wow, I love the brickwork and all here again. I have to assume that these are resin walls on this structure, with the exception of the clapboard, of course.
No, it's all either laser cut parts. Using a task board for the brickwork, the mortar work.
Wow, using task board, great job. And what are you using for windows here?
Just had a train flash by.
Yeah, it's a polyback material that's a resin impregnated paper. It comes in different thicknesses, and we use that.
Laser board here essentially.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess it's very thin. It comes in different thicknesses. We use it primarily for all our kits.
It's about
It's very,
it's about 3 millimeter though. Excuse me, it's about a 64th, right?
yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah, we've been using that for a long time, and we had a lot to do with that development on that product through Northeastern. Next page around, and you have so many photos. I don't want to rush these, but there's so much to
Oh,
show people. Involves a signal head.
right. We're trying to expand our line of signals, and that's HO scale. We're primarily most of our products are in HO scale. We have some in N scale, but there are a lot of limitations of how you can light N scale signals.
Nope. There we
But
go.
these are designed to be built in components. The mast assemblies are one kit, and the head assembly is another, and so you can mix and match, build your own signal.
You know,
And we
I
plan
have
to.
to ask our viewers here because I know we've had a difficult night. If anyone has any questions for Walter and Debbie, please just speak up. That's the whole idea of this, is to share the hobby. Here again, I want to go through a few more pictures. This is pretty amazing. These are a couple trucks that Lenny put on screen by mistake. Kind of jumped the gun on these. They're HO scale vehicles, and one is obviously a tow truck. The other is just a cab body. And what can you tell us about these, Walt?
Well, they are HO scale versions of ones we've done in N scale, the cabs especially, and they are again they're pewter cast parts, they're resin cast parts, and some 3D printed parts as well. But they're really upscale versions of our N scale models.
Well, you know, the last time I built a high-end vehicle in N scale, anyhow, was a company called GHQ, if you remember them. And I haven't seen them in a long time, but I thought their stuff was great. And I'm looking at this, and I don't know what's happened to their company, but for folks looking for that kind of quality, or maybe better, I haven't seen these in person. This is pretty amazing.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I've done some work for GHQ. I did some work for CNC years ago. It's really when I started in the 80s, building models for CNC, which were 1/285th scale war game models. Those were all built by hand.
Well, let me ask you, I have a question here, and it says, does Showcase make the power truck in HO scale?
The power truck, no, not yet. We haven't looked at that in HO scale, no.
We have another fellow who just comments that the detail is stunning, especially for N scale, but we all know that. That's why I asked you here. They can't wait to see some more of it in HO scale. That's just a comment. Thank you for sharing this interview. Very intrigued and can't wait for HO versions. This is the public speaking here. Excellent truck model details. Another fellow, Wigwag Workshops, who's a pretty knowledgeable guy, says looks amazing. And another fellow, Shadow Wolf, who's a very steady customer of ours, says, I must have misheard. Wait, I thought he said primarily N scale. I am so, let's say, hitting up. I don't know if you wrote that right, but he wants more anyhow. Do you plan on making Jeep Cherokees in N scale? How's that one for you?
We get lots of requests,
Yeah.
actually. I have a full book of requests, and I wish we had more talented workers like Walter here, but it takes a long time to bring a product to market, as you know.
Yeah.
Well, another question, Jeff Morris asks, you have HO scale 1940s vintage vehicles in the works at all? Anything?
Not right now, we don't. Not in the 40s era, we don't.
And so someone else asked you, Jim Armour, who's a very regular guy, do you make a bridge kit for your signals in HO scale? Interesting concept.
We do.
In HO?
In N scale, we have a bridge, a signal bridge in N scale, not HO scale.
Not this gentleman is looking for HO scale. Just don't forget everyone that Showcase Miniatures is showcaseminiatures.net. And that's how you can look through, because they have a lot of different products. We're not done with this interview yet, and I'm glad it's finally working. And I here again apologize.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys will enjoy those gift certificates and this visit to Walter and Debbie Vale from Alabama. We're going to go to the next picture here. which is just as soon. This is going to be an antique the way it's looking, because the way these guys deliver mail, I don't know. People are going to know this is a vintage truck, because I don't think they're going to be around if they keep servicing us the way they've been. We have 3 trucks. What's the story there, Walter?
Yeah, those are the mail trucks, and they are LLVs. They're called long life vehicles, and you're right, they're going to be around a long time. But it's HO scale, N scale, and Z scale, all in the same photo.
Now you personally put all of these together, correct?
All right, I did, and we supply the decals. Of course, they don't actually say U.S. Post Office on them, but they try to get close to that. But we supply the decals for them as well.
Do you find a very big difference in your approach to modeling the HO version as opposed to modeling, say, the Z scale version?
We do, and because you can add so much more detail to the HO scale versions, I tended to start to try to do the N scale version with all the HO scale detail, if that makes sense, and then scale them up and down in the 3D printer, and they're still able to hold that detail.
Now, let me ask you: are the rear view mirrors? I'm going to assume those are brass, but you're probably going to tell me I'm wrong.
No, they're stainless. They are etched stainless steel.
Well, close enough. All right, metal. I was going for metal. Okay.
Yeah. And let me comment too, Art, about the signal bridge. We do have a signal bridge in HO scale and not N scale yet, from before.
In HO and not N.
Correct. Yes. Do we have a signal bridge? And it's modular kit, and it's all stainless steel etched kit, and you can make it any length you want to, actually.
Well, I'm going to change yet another page, and there's going to be a little explanation on this one. I kind of have an idea what this is about, and it looks like your Shea.
Yes.
And it says the West Side Lumber Company, and it's very well weathered on brand new shiny plastic track. But I'll let you slide on that. What's the story with this exactly?
That's an N scale 3-truck Shea. And it's NN3. It comes in NN3 versions and N scale standard gauge, and it is powered by the power truck that we saw first. And it can operate with 1 or 2 of the power trucks.
And which sound system is in this?
Yeah, no sound system yet, but there is room in it to put a DCC control if you want to.
That's pretty amazing. Let me see what else I have here, because I think people are enjoying this. Let me see what we have. I have another one that looks amazing. And here's another one I must have misheard. That I read that one before. I'm buying their stuff. Okay, there you go, Walter. You owe me a slice of pizza, bud.
Yeah,
here's a fellow
you got it.
That's going to be ordering the tow truck in the morning.
Oh, cool.
And
good.
Also another one says, thanks so much for the interview. What do we have over here? They really great HO power poles. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. The Shea is beautiful. Yeah. I wish it was an HON30. What's that? Walter, why not HON30? A little too easy for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think NN3 has kind of been a pet of mine for years and years, and especially logging.
Well, I'm going to change yet to another page. We're going to kind of shift gears here a little bit. And this is kind of in our ballpark. Although I have to admit, we make both laser cut and injection molded pallets. I see that you have a couple sizes, a couple different varieties here. And what is the deal with these?
That's a real picture.
Yeah, they are laser cut as well, both in N scale and HO scale.
All right. And let me see. You don't have Z scale, huh?
No, not yet. No.
Jeez, Walt, I'm telling you, I thought you guys were up there. I'm kind of sorry I invited these guys. I thought we'd do better. On the last page, this is the showcase factory. This is actually where Walt apparently lives. The bathroom was on the roof apparently. That's Walt's where he keeps his reading material. And this actually is not to show so much the building, which reminds me very much. And I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing, but it reminds me a little bit of a DPM kind of a wall pattern. But I'm assuming that we're featuring here some of the roof details that are so important in kits today.
Exactly. They are those are DPM kits that Rawls did for us, and these are the, just like you said, the rooftop accessories for those kits. And in scale, you see a lot of the rooftops, and just about is not as flattering as something that's going on up there. So, uh, and again, Rawls Perez has built most of the nearly all of the building kits for us, and he does a great job. And this is some of his work as well.
Well, Walter has been good enough to show us, he's very technologically oriented and he's a great model builder. Otherwise, frankly, Walter, I wouldn't have used you in the first place. If you're going to have a product inside of a Bar Mills kit, it better be very, very good.
I appreciate
We have a photo of here of an etch shop. Now, this is where he does metal etching. I have to tell you, I think this is a computer-generated image. There's no garbage on the floor. And I just don't see this being realistic at all. I think the shade looks far more realistic than a workshop this clean. Walter, exactly, I see not one but 4 machines here. One is an Epson. The other 3 are R2D2 clones, I think, I'm not sure. Why don't you walk us around here just a little bit, and then explain to me exactly how you got Debbie to say okay to all of this.
Yeah, well, we have probably over 100 products that use photo etch files, and it just got to kind of be a bottleneck, especially last year with the COVID thing and getting them supplies. We decided we'd bring that in shop. So, and it's clean because it's just set up, and we're not using it yet, but it's in the process of being set up. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks we can get going on that. But the products, the steps are: we print out the transparencies with the printer. We make the dry photoresist film on the sheets themselves. They go through a couple of baths, and then they're etched in the etch machine, which is on the right. That's pretty much it. It's just like a lot of home etching shops are done, just a little bigger scale.
Well, I'm looking here. We have comments from Gary Chestnut, who's apparently a customer of yours. Says it says you can go wrong buying Showcase. I don't think he means that. I think he means you can't go wrong buying Showcase models. I have a few of them, the great detail items. And another guy goes, ooh, pallets. Really, ooh, pallets.
I got one that says really nice product. It says, yay, a water tower.
Anyhow, it says we have so many things here thanking us for having you guys with us today. A couple questions. We can see what you've been working on. What's the future right now of Showcase? Where do you see yourselves going?
We not a lot of big plans other than adding that edge shop. We just want to continue to expand our signal line and in scale as well as expanding. We want to be kind of the go-to people for signals in both N and HO scale. That probably will continue to expand the fire truck line. That's popular in both scales. That's pretty much it, just more of the same.
We might be doing some custom etching for people as well.
I hear what you're saying. I'll think about it. Let me ask you one other thing now. I know you're down in Alabama. You don't make many shows. You and I have been together in an N-scale convention run by Dick Ohlendorf, who's online with us tonight. And I think that was in Minneapolis. Maybe I'm wrong. It could be someplace else. We've been to a lot of them. Any plans for any future shows anywhere?
Yeah. Well, we're planning to go to the N-scale convention next summer. Other than that, we don't have a lot of plans. There's not any a lot of big shows locally. We've got to drive a couple of days to get to them, but definitely plan to go to the N-scale convention next year.
Well, someone says here, and I don't know, Mark Sisk is a regular guy for us. Many of these names I know. Oh, Dick Ohlendorf says Nashville, but that's not true. I was never in Nashville, Dick. That's not the one that we were together at. Someone is asking about, and please, you might want to sit down for this. Debbie, we're not as young as we used to be, so when someone asks for operating semaphores and N-scale, I don't expect a lot. But what's the prospect of something like that?
N scale semaphore, operating semaphore. Yeah, we have one an HO scale that can be operated.
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, we thought about it, and it's a possibility. It's some hurdles to get over, but it's possible it could be done.
We have somebody inviting you to Springfield, Massachusetts here. If you ever need help with that, I'm the guy. I'm the guy who can help you get into Springfield. I have some deep roots over there. If you haven't make it up there, just get in touch with me. I'll make sure you get a good spot. And we have thank you, just doing my job. And what else do we have? Any plans for making Pennsylvania Railroad signal heads? Up here, that's a big deal.
Oh,
it may not be big in Alabama, but that would be a big thing up here.
Yeah, they're on the drawing board. They sure are.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciate you guys spending some time. It's certainly been a weird thing going on here tonight, and I have to apologize to my guys. We try to put on a good show, bring on some very interesting guests. We've had ITLA on, right? We've had Tim Morris from Mount Albert Lumber. We've had, well, who else on the manufacturers? Plenty of them.
From Fast Tracks.
Tim Morris from Fast Tracks.
We've had Brett.
Yeah, we've had Brett from Sierra West Models, and now we have Walter and Debbie Vale, the Alabama Vales, in case you know.
Give them the website.
At showcaseminiatures.net. And
Correct.
send smiles and attach each smile to a dollar bill. They'll be quite happy to hear from you. They're doing great things. They're making the hobby a better place. And I want to say, I don't know when we'll see each other again, but it's certainly good seeing both of you.
You thanks for this opportunity, Art. We really appreciate it.
All right, and so keep an eye out. Walter and Debbie Vale, showcaseminiatures.net. Take care, guys, and maybe we'll get down to Alabama sometime, and I'll try something that I'd normally be afraid to eat. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes. You'll be welcome.
All right, now, Lenny, we're back, okay? Bye-bye now. Well, it turns out that it looks like our, let me get these out of here. It turns out that it looks like maybe the internet's working again. I'm sorry we missed Mike Tylek tonight. I know this is running a little bit long. And does anybody have any problems if we just keep going a little bit? We do have, are we going to be able to show you clipping tonight, or do you want to save it for next time?
I can try.
I'm afraid of losing it's the problem.
What? We haven't lost it yet?
Actually, I think the bandwidth has
What's
caught
one
up
more
now.
time?
It looks like maybe we're back in business with the internet. We do have a clinic. If it goes off, that means we're kind of done for the night. But before we do that, excuse me, I'm going to quickly, Jack, grab a name that we haven't grabbed already. I'm going to keep. I'm going to pick up one right here. Keith McKenzie, are you there, buddy? Keith, get in touch with us with your email. I'm sending you a $50 gift certificate. Okay? Jack, you have somebody over there you'd like to pick up on?
Hold on. Did we get? Oh, yeah, we got him. We did Glenn Hendrick.
I think Hendrick. Yeah, Glenn's a regular guy, but in all fairness, I think we've given him stuff before. But if you want to give us something to him, it's up to you.
Well, I've just given you a name.
Well, don't give it to that guy.
I think.
know him. You know what? We say Glenn. Glenn, you know what? An extra $50 in your Christmas stocking this year from Bar Mills. Just make sure you contact us, and we will send you a coupon code so you can apply it. So you can apply it when next time you're
Trying to.
next time you're ordering something. If we have any other questions, let's see what else we have here. You're welcome. Thank you. I think it's kind of slowed down on the questions. We've been on now and off now. Excuse me, we got a little cold going on here.
I got one that says keep going, so.
Keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? We're going to. Jack, you put together a clinic on.
I don't know. Oh, what?
Fences.
Fences. Insta-fence.
Nobody tells you anything.
Yeah, they usually don't.
But it's not only about the fences, but on how to really do a great job building them. And I think if this video works, we got right down to the wire in this. We actually shot this afternoon.
Yeah.
And because the internet was slow, but not like what happened tonight, it took forever. And we maybe should have picked up on something when this happened.
When it took it.
It took so long to upload. Anyhow, here's a clinic by the late Jack Ellis right here.
I'm not late, I'm here. Good evening. Welcome to Jack's Corner. Tonight we're going to do a little fun with some bar mill Instafence. That's you've seen them probably out and around. This is the quickest way to build board fences out there. Makes it really easy. They paint up really nice. They go together real quick. Instead of cutting those boards one at a time, they come on a strip. So let's get into it. Okay, now what we have here is we have the three of the scales. We have actually 4, but I brought the 3, which is N scale, HO scale, and O scale. And that's all the ones we're going to kind of concentrate on. But whatever you do with any of these techniques, we can do in all 4 scales, including S. So we do have S scale also. All right, this is what we're going to start with. This is the fun part. This is the board fence that we have. And as you can see, they're all attached here on the bottom, so they all hold in place. So while you can do some painting and you can do some arranging before you have to cut all these little pieces. And then on the back side, you'll see there's 2 scribed lines, and that is for your top and bottom rail on your fences. So our next step will be, we'll take this and we'll figure out what we're going to do with it by painting it. We're going to talk about what we're going to use to color our fences and paint them up and weather them a little bit. We'll start with our basic colors. Tonight I'm going to use white and I'm going to use red. These are both acrylic paints, 50 cents a bottle, $1 a bottle, very inexpensive, great to use, easy to clean up. In our washes, I'm going to use Hunter Line. This one happens to be driftwood. The other one I like is light gray. And then my good old ink and alcohol. Remember, this is 2 ounces of alcohol, 10 drops from the little eyedropper of ink, and then shake it up and you'll be all set. I have 2 sets of pan pastels. One is a brown, which happens to be burnt sienna, and the other one is yellow oxide, which is actually a green. This is my windshield washer fluid I use to wash my brushes. Assortment of good different brushes, depending what I want to use. And then I have 2 of these small testers paint. I'll talk about those later. All right, one of the first steps I like to do is I like to stain. If I'm going to stain my rails on the back, I like to stain them ahead of time because once I put the glue on, the stain won't take where the glue is. So I like to stain them ahead of time. So they'll start out like this, and then we're going to stain them up and set them aside and let them dry. That way they're going to be dry when it's time to glue them to the actual fence pieces. So that's what we're going to do. Make sure these are stained up and completely dry when we go to glue them on. All right, now we're going to try and figure out what we want to do with the fence. Do we want a painted or stained fence? Do we want just a rustic wooden fence? Do we want a brand new fence or an old fence? That's what we have to decide. So in this one, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with a wood weathered fence. That would be like a silver gray or a light brown. These are made out of plywood. They do take stain pretty well. But the problem is trying to get them light enough to make them look like light wood. So what I've done here, as you can see, I've taken a section of them and I've painted them white. I like to do that with a white because then I can go from there and I can darken it up a little bit. So I'm going to go, in this case, I'm going to go from light to dark. So that's what I'm going to do next. All right, now what we're going to do, once we've got it painted and stained the way we want, and our back piece is stained, these aren't stained, but they normally would. What I would do is I would run a bead of glue across the whole stick. And then if you notice, there's 2 little lines in here. You're going to stick your rails down, one there, both glued all the way down the lines, and one on the top, just like that. And you're going to set it aside and let it dry. The next step, what we'd do is we would cut, once we have the rails on, we're going to cut the bottom off, and that's, we're going to just trim it right at the very top here, all the way down the line, cutting every one of these until it comes off. Try to cut real close to the wooden to make it flush so you don't have to sand them off. So once you get them all off, that piece will come off and look like that. That's what's going to look like when it's done. You want to save that. We'll talk about that later. Next, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to start doing a little bit, depends upon what you want here. If you want a brand new fence, you're going to leave it alone. But if you want to add some character to it, you want to break that top line up a little bit by just nipping off the tops of a couple individual of the, that's a little hard here, boy. Like that. You're going to do the bottoms, you're going to do the tops. and you can add some character. You can pull a piece of the fence out if you want. You can leave halfway up if you want. But that's what we're looking to do now. We're trying to get a character to the fence. Now, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to weather the bottom of the fence a little bit more with a little bit of brown pan pastels right along the bottom edge and kind of work it up a little bit. Just like this. Nothing big stack, just a little bit. If it gets too bad, you can take a cloth and rub some of it off. And then a little bit of green here and there. Just represent moth. Get it up on the boards a little bit. And that's going to show it at the bottom where it was against the ground. And if you look here, what we've done here, you can see it. There's a little bit of it here. And you can see how we've distressed the fence. And this is the white fence again. And this is the plain fence, which we left uncut. So that's basically what you're going to do. All right, our last actually construction piece of the fence is to add the vertical posts that hold it up. I do about every 8 feet apart and cut them on my chopper all the same length and then glue them every 8 feet. And that is the last part of the fence construction. All right, here's the last bit you can add to the fence if you'd like. We supply you with some signs to go on the fences. This one happens to be an end scale. So what you want to do is you want to cut them out with a brand new knife and a straight edge and then apply them to your fence where you think they look well. I would lay them out before you glue them on till you like the look of them. And then once they're done, add some glue and stick them down and add a little bit of ink and alcohol to weather them up a little bit. And then you're done. That's the end of the fence. All right, if you want to do your fences in a color and make it weathered, this is a kind of a thing I've learned to do here. This is Barn Red acrylic paint, and I'm going to swatch it on. Just like this. No, don't go crazy here. I'm going to leave some blank spots, some heavy spots, like this, just like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my ink and alcohol, and I'm going to kind of blend it in. And what's going to happen with the alcohol is it's going to kind of spread out that red paint a little bit, but it's also going to stain any wood that's bare. So you're going to get that silvery color of wood behind the paint. And you can do it, get it done. You can go back a little bit. If you see a little bit spot, you want to add a little bit more red, you can do it right over the ink, and it works pretty well. So what you're going to end up with when you're done, and here it is in the O scale, you can see it's not an even red. It looks like a stained, weathered red paint. Yep. All right, so this is what we've got come up with the fence, where our fences are done. You can see this fence is done just plain wood. This one's colored, and this is the white light wood with all the pictures, and that's what you get when you're done. So stop by and grab an Instafence. They're fun to do. They're an evening project. Make them real quick. Kits come with the telephone poles and the cross bucks that go on the phone. So it'll look like this on the pole, look like this. And then it ends up looking like this. As a small little V piece and on top. It also comes with a straight piece, which we're going to substitute. And most of the kits come with a piece of Instafence that looks like this. When you cut the bottom off the fence, you're going to end up with something that looks like this. Save it, because we're going to trim it down. And we're going to do 3 little tabs on one side, none in the middle, 3 little tabs on the other side. And that's what we're going to make, a little piece that goes on there. And then we're going to take that and we're going to glue it to the top of that, just like that. All done. That's all the assembly we'll need to do. The next thing we're going to do is take the V part, which would have been metal pieces, and we're going to paint them. I use the Tester's silver. Works really good. It's an enamel, but it works really well. And I'm going to paint the V. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Tester's. This is a metallic green. Look for the metallic green, but probably any of the greens will do, which is a glossy green. You want a glossy color. And I'm going to paint lightly the ends of those little tabs. We're going to do those little tabs. It's kind of hard to see, but it's going to make them green and shiny. And you're going to get 2 applications. It's going to make them a little round bud on the top of them. And when you're done, you're all through, little alcohol on it to stain it up. And then I'm going to apply it to the pole with a bit of glue here and a bit of glue there. Get them on straight. You do 1 or 2. And if you want to add, if you can add one of our transformers to the top of the pole, when you're done, you got a neat looking little pole. And you've used parts that came with the kit. So here's a real easy one to do. Give it a try. It's fun to do.
All righty, we're back. Jack is still washing himself. He can't get over it. He's such a star. Trying to shut down the sound. Anyhow, we kind of ran pretty late tonight. I'm happy that so many of you stuck with us. I am disappointed that we had a problem with the internet, as you might. I think maybe you ought to close this.
Wait a minute.
He's getting sound here. The thing of it is, it's time to go home tonight. Time to get back to bed. Time to say hello to Nancy, who's inside with a cold still after all this time. And
I gotta drive home.
And we have some wonderful, great fencing lesson. Nice job, well done. So, and we know that. That's why you're here, right? And you came in, and this was a little pressure tonight. And I have to tell you, when we went off the air before, we actually lost electricity in the building. And the electricity came on in a matter of a few moments, but the internet did not catch up with the electricity. And that's what you were seeing. And so, here again, another Bar Mills moment. Let's hope that the 15th, which we're looking forward to, I'm going to prepare a video.
Wait till you see our bloopers from these things.
We're
We're gonna have
get a
lots of bloopers.
Yeah.
Lots of bloopers.
You're all invited up here for the bloopers. We'll give you the address.
Yeah.
Have lobster for everybody, okay?
Yeah. Again, they'll all be here.
They'll all be here, I know. And on the 15th, we're going to be the unveiling, you might say, of the Christmas kit. It's called Cemetery Hill. Available for order till January 31st. Very different, very, very, very craftsman-like, this kit. And it's not the biggest kit, but I gotta tell you, what do you think, Jack? Pretty cool kit, right?
Junk.
Oh, piece of junk. Wow.
No,
Nice.
it's beautiful. It's a little different. It's kind of cool. It's gonna, as I said before, there's some techniques that we normally don't use in this. It's gonna, I think, have some lasting effect on some people that'll keep using these effects.
They
That'll
are
be
not,
great.
this is not difficult, but there's many layers
Yeah.
of things that go on in this kit. If you notice, excuse me, I am sorry. If you notice with the barbershop, you can see the inside wall, the rafters, and the outside wall with the siding over it. This is the kind of thing that this kit is about. It's about the little things that are just extremely contest quality, I would say. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. Yes.
At any rate, for Lenny, myself, Jack, Nancy was inside, Mike Tylek, who I'm so sorry couldn't make his, because I know everything was working for him earlier today, but Mike will be back. And of course to Walter and Debbie Vale from Showcase Miniatures. I want to thank you all for sticking with us, and I apologize for everything that went on tonight. You guys are pretty patient with us, and hell no, I know we're patient with you because I have to deal with it every day. We're doing the best we can to keep.
We don't have much left that could happen, though. I mean, some catastrophe.
I'm
We're going to get hit by a meteor, maybe. That'll be it.
I'm waiting for you to fall off your stool or something.
Jeez. Anything.
I feel like the old Saturday Night Live crew here, you know, like with
Anything
Belushi
and
banging his
everything.
head. Yeah, absolutely. Anyhow, I see we have Mark, Gary, Todd, Wigwag, all those guys still with us, and many of you will watch this after the fact. So we have $10 gift certificates going out, two $50 gift certificates going out, news about the Christmas kit, which is going to be shipping on or about December 10th, but we will unveil on November 15th, which is 2 weeks from tonight, assuming that the next disaster doesn't put us out of business, whatever it is. Okay? Thank you all, and thanks from Jim Mooney too, who's obviously not with us, but definitely part of the team.
Busy.
He's out in California, just, I don't know, whatever. Okay guys, thanks now.
Night.